Yeah, but let's get into virus words.
Virus words.
I'm the one that pushed this, so
you are the one that pushed it, and I swear she wants me to write a book on this.
Yes.
And I say what the world does not need is one more motivational book written by me.
Well, you can get it all here in our podcast instead.
You can.
So you might want to write them down. There's only 7 of them, or you can email us and get the antidotes, and we'll send you a little card. We'll send it to you online.
Yeah, so. I've got a little cheater card, but let's talk about this. When I did my PhD studies, when you go into a program like that, you're not really sure what to write about, what to study, and what we have to do is prove something. We have to either disprove or prove something, and you have to write these papers and research. And so I thought, well, what am I going to do this on? And I remember a guy told me a long time ago, you don't try, you do. In fact, in the infamous words of Yoda, we do and do not rather than try. And there, I had to clear my throat. I'm sorry about that. We've got to really pay attention to the words we use, because when we use the wrong words, bad things happen, not only in our thought process, but they happen in the way we think about other people, and they also happen in the way those people think about us. So these 7 words, I can guarantee you, if you will change these words, get rid of them in your life, change them, things are going to change for you. Your success is going to change. Your attitude's going to change. The way people respond to you is going to change. And probably your income's going to change, because people will take you much more seriously. So the first word that we have is a word that we've all heard, but this word is called the word why. W-H-Y. When we use that word, it completely makes us drop rapport with the person we're talking to. It makes people feel persecuted when we ask them why they did something. If you wear a certain kind of a shirt and I walk up to you and ask you, why did you wear that shirt? You immediately think you did something wrong. And the next thing you're going to do is figure out a clever, creative way to answer me, and it's probably not the real reason you're wearing it. Also, if your kids come home late, you want them to come home early, and they come home in the middle of the night, you ask them, why didn't you get home on time? They're going to give you the wrong answer. They're going to lie to you. They're going to tell you something that's untrue. And so we want to change that word to, what was your strategy when you stayed out all night? I'm curious how you made that decision. The kids are going to think, wow, mom actually thinks we had a strategy, and it's going to cause them to engage in a conversation with you rather than lie to you and not wait to get out of the room. So they're going to run from you, and you just don't want that. What you want is someone to have a conversation, to answer you properly and correctly. So the word why is the number 1 virus word that causes a lot of problems for a lot of people.
So the antidote is what?
Is what? Yeah. What did you want? What is it that made you think that? What was your strategy? I'm curious on how you chose to make that decision. These are all words that are called softeners, and these softeners soften the blow when you're asking the word why. So rather than ask the word why, what was your strategy when you did that? I'm curious. And it's going to cause a conversation.
So what is the second one? We have 7 of them. So why is the first one? What is the second one? I did that pretty good, huh?
Well, the second one's actually try.
Oh.
Why try? Why try? And, so the word try, you've heard that. If I owe you $100 and I tell you I'm going to try to pay you Friday, what's going to really happen is you're going to find yourself doubting that. And also inside, by me telling you that, I'm going to doubt that I'm going to do it as well. I'm going to lose my conviction to actually do it and pay you by Friday, and it probably is not going to get done.
I'd hate for my doctor to say, I'm going to try this on you.
Well, I worked with a lot of doctors in their language with their patients, and that is a big one, because many doctors create problems in the healing process of their patients just by using these words. Yeah, if you have cancer and you go to a cancer doctor, an oncologist, and he says we're going to give you a treatment, and we're going to try to help this along, we trust it's going to work. You're not going to have a lot of conviction in the idea that trying is going to work. You're going to hear the failure in it. We're going to try to heal you with this new substance, and you just don't believe it. But if they change the word, say, here's what we're going to attempt to do, is really get an aggressive touch on this cancer, you feel better about it. It feels solid. It feels like, wow, they're doing something positive. They're doing something. They're after this thing, and it's more affirmative. So the word try is a virus word It presupposes failure. And a presupposition is that language between the language that makes us hear something other than what's being said.
So the antidote to using the word try, because I see it in the media everywhere. You know, try this product, try this for 30 days. What would be better for them to use?
Well, rather than try, use the word attempt, or I'm going to use this, or I'm not going to do this. You know, in the infamous words of Yoda, there is no try, there's either do or do not. And that's very, very true, because when we try to do something, we're probably going to fail at it. But if we attempt to do something, we're going to get it to work. And the sports teams that I've worked with, that's one of the first things I do is see if I can get them to quit using, we're going to go for a field goal try, we're going to try a field goal, and go for the word field goal attempt. In fact, if you listen to television now, most of the big sports teams use the word attempt rather than try.
Interesting.
And it's because it's an affirmative feeling. It psychologically sets you up for success rather than failure.
So we have why, try. What's number 3?
Number 3 is the word need. And you're going to hear Madison Avenue using this word all the time, the word need. Need presupposes we're going to fail at something, but it also presupposes that outside of ourself is the power to do it, which it doesn't lie within ourself. So the internal fortitude to do something, when we say we need a new pair of shoes, or we need to make more money, or I need to lose weight, you're going to feel like there's something that has to happen before you can actually do it. And what actually has to happen is you got to decide to do it and then have the behaviors that are going to allow you to lose the weight. But most people use the word need negatively as a viral word, and it presupposes inside them that they haven't got the power to do something themselves. They have to have something else or someone else help them. And it disables us. It disables our ability to move forward in life with a positive attitude about our own abilities rather than trusting the abilities of someone else, which is a complete ill-formed outcome in most cases.
So not saying need, I need this. And it's amazing how many times you say, okay, I'm not going to say this. And then you end up saying it because it's in your subconscious. What I would suggest, okay, we're on number 3, we're going to have 7 of them, is pick one and do it for a week or a month. Give yourself a time frame and see how many times you say it. And a lot of times I'll go, oh, I gotta, why, oh, what? You know, and you catch yourself. So need, the antidote for that is require, right?
Require.
Yeah,
just say I require this. One of the things that is necessary in my life is that I make that field goal, or what we require here is me to become healthier, so I'm going to reduce my weight rather than I need to lose weight.
Instead of saying I need new shoes,
yeah,
I require them.
Say I require shoes, or I want some new shoes.
So want isn't a virus word.
Want is not a virus word. No, wanting is okay. Needing is tragic. Believe me. If you have the experiment right now, and what you do is just think about saying this to yourself: I need to make more money, and close your eyes and say that. Notice how that feels. And if you don't need more money, then say I need to lose weight, or I need to become healthier. And hear what it feels like inside when you say that. It's going to feel this heavy, cumbersome, wet blanket on you. But now say this: I'm going to choose to become thinner. I'm going to choose to make more money. Notice what happens inside you, and notice how that feels. It kind of empowers you. So a good word rather than need is I'm going to choose, because that empowers you rather than something outside your realm, the ilk of who you are, powering you rather than you powering yourself.
And I suppose it's if you really require it or not, because if you're saying I need this, I need ice cream, and then you go, oh, well,
you say that all the time.
I require ice cream. Do I? Like, there's a question that comes in my mind going, it's cool. All right, what's number 4?
Well, you got why, try, need, and now this is the big one that you hear people use this all the time. I call it the naked butt. It's the B-U-T, butt.
Oh, that's mine.
And I think you're a really nice person, but, and you hear the other shoe dropping, and what that does, it discounts every positive thing that was said just before those words. So if you say, I'm really learning this, I'm having a lot of fun in this, but I don't know if I'm going to use it or not, that's probably what's going to happen. So but is a virus word. Can it be used properly? Not really. You hear it all the time. You can feel it coming when someone says it. And usually it's one of the things you can hear coming is they're saying a compliment. There's a lot of things you want to hear, but then they'll say but, and it ruins the whole thing. So but stops your progress in any one given direction in the positive way, and now gets you ready for that other shoe to drop again, where you need someone to give you encouragement.
So what to say instead of it? Because we're going to give you all the antidotes, and you can email us, and we'll send you a little cheater card that you can take with you.
Yeah, the easiest thing is just use a conjunctive phrase rather than use the word but. Keep talking. I think you're a really nice person, and I believe I can teach you some things about this. But listen to the difference. I think you're a really nice person, but I can teach you some nice things about this. Does one of them make you feel like you've done something wrong and you're stupid? Or is the other one, said properly, make you feel like, wow, I'm encouraged, I want to learn this? So this is how you use it. And also you can use the word and to connect your sentences, or you can use the word or. I think you're a really nice person, and we can learn more about this.
Or however is a good word. Point of view.
However is a good word. And you can use that because it bridges it rather than putting that stop in it, turning it that positive to negative. So why, try, need, but, and then the next one is a big one. And we hear this all the time. I call it people should all over themselves. And it is the word should. Should presupposes, listen how stupid this is. Should presupposes that you should have known how to do something before you actually learned how to do it. Now think about that for a second. Is that even possible? No, it's not. So it creates this double bind in your mind that traps you and stops you from making progress. Well, I should have done this. Well, I should have done that. Well, of course you know that now because you had the negative experience to teach you how not to do that. However, by persecuting yourself and saying that right up front and always blaming yourself because you should do this and you should do that, it's going to create this negative energy inside yourself and stop your growth in any one direction. And that's what happens to a lot of people. Their growth actually stops. They've discouraged themselves so much by using the word should or these virus words, they quit growing. And that's the tragedy of most people that want to do better in their life. They're using these words innocently, not even realizing these are things that ought to be taught in grade school.
Absolutely. And it's amazing how many of your friends and how many people that are in the media, whether they're in movie star, whether they're in YouTube, whether they're in politicians, media, say these a lot. I am shocked. And you can usually see people that are really educated, they even say them. It's not a level of education or not. It's just, are you trained or not?
Well, you got to pay attention to what you say. And one of the things I've always told my patients is we become what we think about the most, and we become also what we say the most. And one of the things that we have to pay attention to also when we're continually talking in nested loops, saying the same thing over and over again without even realizing we're saying it, we're programming ourselves. We're programming ourselves for failure. We're programming ourselves for negativity and also for not getting a lot of stuff done that we want to get done. So those virus words, reviewing again, why, try, need, but, should.
And number 6?
Is the word don't. A lot of people don't really realize this, and people say, well, that's not true, because how do you tell somebody what you don't want them to do? Well, you tell them what you do want them to do, and it's just that easy. The word don't is laced in a law that we discovered called the neurological law of negation. And now listen to this. If you want something twisty and that really can mess you up is understanding that law. In order not to do something, you first have to think about doing it. And once you've thought about doing it, that is a positive affirmation that goes deep into the subconscious mind and becomes programming there. But what the cool thing about the way our brain is made, it doesn't receive negative suggestions. It only takes the positive aspects of most of the things we say to the deep part, and what's happening on the positive, on our front part, we think we're saying something, we're really not. And we can prove this right now. If you're listening to this podcast, and I can manipulate every thought you have right now by using that don't word. I can get you to think anything I want you to think, and you're going to think, he's full of beans, he can't do it. But I'm going to do it right now. Don't think of a banana. And you'll notice what happened is a picture of a banana where you thought of it because you had to think of it because I said it. And it goes immediately in there. And I said, you don't think of it, but you thought of it anyway. If I tell you don't think of a banana and you think of it, that means the don't didn't work. It projected you into the opposite direction. So a lot of people say, don't be late, don't worry, don't forget your sunglasses, don't lose your keys.
So they're programming the opposite
They're
in you.
programming the opposite thing. And especially if you have children, especially before the ages of 6 and 7, if you're using this word a lot, most kids have heard the word don't about 500,000 times by the time they're 3 years old. And that's programmed in there, and they just eliminate, don't hear it, and they go right on doing what you don't want them to do. Don't go out on the road, you turn right around, the kids are out on the road playing. And they heard it consciously, but it went deep into the subconscious mind as a positive rather than what you actually directed. So the word don't is one of those words we have to be really, really careful about. You can use it correctly. Keep in mind the neurological law of negation, once it's in the brain, it's going to float around in there logically in your conscious mind, which is only about plus or minus 10 bits of information per second that it can assimilate, and the rest of it drops in the subconscious and becomes programming. So don't worry, don't think, oh, I don't want to read that. You can actually use it in the opposite way, but I'm not going to get into that now because you can actually motivate people by doing that. And I have many times by using that negation to project them in a good way, like don't have too much fun. Don't enjoy yourself too much.
And what I think is really cool is that you use this with your business clients and having them utilize it in their business world to make more money, to have better relations with the people that they work with. And these are big businesses too. So it's really cool that you guys, everybody gets to hear this. And that's why I've been pushing him to write a little book. And the last one is really the most interesting to me because I wouldn't have, it's used back even into biblical times. In the seventh virus word, I was shocked and still am shocked.
Most people want to argue with this one, and it's a big word, and doctors, a lot of people use this inappropriately, and it really creates a lot of problems, and I'm sure you do too, and I certainly did before I learned it and understood it, what it does. So we have why, try, need, but, should, don't, and this one is the word hope. When we use the word hope, it presupposes, again, just like the word try, we're going to fail. If I'm a doctor and you're coming to me and you have a tragic disease and I give you a treatment and I say, well, we're going to give you this treatment and we hope this works. What do you really hear? Think about that. Think about your children when they go to school and you say, go take that test. And, you know, when you go there, take that test, I hope you get a good grade on it. They're going to presuppose they're probably not going to get one. And they're going to be devastated. They're going to be going to school with a negative thought in their mind that they're probably going to fail. So rather than use the word hope, I like to use the word trust. If the doctor says, we're going to give you this treatment for cancer, and this time we trust this is going to be the thing that works. It's much better than the word hope. Not perfect. There are no perfect things in that kind of a situation, but it's better.
It's amazing how many times hope is seen too. You know, you'll find it on cards. I hope you get better. I hope you're well. I hope this. I hope that. I'm just, the more over the years I've worked with these words and I look how they use them in the media, it's not doing the companies that are using them any service whatsoever, and it doesn't do you any good service whatsoever. So I encourage you to listen to this section again. We're going to put this whole section just by itself on YouTube, and of course all the podcast channels we're on. And I would say listen to this a couple of times, write them down, email us. We'll send you a little cheat sheet on it, or make your own cheat sheet and utilize them, and watch your life. Watch what changes. It gets better. And people believe you.
It does change your life. I've changed thousands of people's lives just by doing these things and bringing their consciousness to this. And there's a little more to it. We have a lot more on these kinds of things. If you're interested in looking at these kinds of things as neuro-linguistic programming, you can study it. It's an ingenious modality that has been used in psychology for probably the last 30 years. And I was trained as a master practitioner by the person who created it. And the words, these 7 words, can make a huge difference in your life. So we'll stop here. I encourage you to use them, experiment with them, and also comment. Let us know how you do with it. We want to know.
Yes, that's the fun part. And how many times you say them. There's usually one word that you say a lot. And I would say start with that word and see if you can change.
What is your word that you say a lot?
I would say the first thing was but. I said that a lot.
But?
But, and maybe need. Not so much though, but was
That's
a big
mine,
one.
Need. You're busting me on that all the time. And also, I have to say, I have to admit that even though I wrote the papers on this, I'm lazy now. I'm not in private practice like I was. And I find myself, if you don't stay on this, they creep back in. So you got to really pay attention to what you say. Be in that present moment and pay attention, because what you say matters. It matters big on what's going on in your life.